Okay, I finished this piece today. I call it Urban Awesome. Um, there's a lot going on here. I'm not sure how to show this to you except to just play it by ear. So we're going to go live. Um, let's start with the gate. I found the metal gate that it's built around on the back side of a pile of gravel a couple months ago. And this rope up here I found on the ground near it. So I tied it to the gate and down here too in a way where I could carry it and use that as a handhold because it was a long hike and the meadow was kind of cold and it was uphill. Had to set it down twice on my way home. It was sort of a mind over matter just to carry it up because it was about 30 pounds, 35 pounds. And then I had an idea for a concept of art to go with this chain link fence part. And my older brother Calvin suggested that I, just sketch it out with paper and figure out sort of what the images is going to be. So I taped together a bunch of pieces of paper in the area and just started sketching. And as I did, I realized like, no, this is the finished work. So I had to take the front of an old dishwasher and cut it out, which was hard because it's stainless steel, to back the paper. Because when I realized, no, I want to keep that paper, it's like, well, that's flimsy and it's going to wreck in no time. So I put it against stainless steel, duct taped it in because the piece is called Urban Awesome anyway. So duct tape is welcome. Lots of duct tape on this piece. And let's take a look at the image. So this image started, it was inspired by a photo I saw from my cousin Raymond. He does this thing where he supports a program in Kenya where they make it possible for Kenyans who don't have a lot of means to have education for their children, and he supports that. And he had a photo of a group of children that were in a field, joined hands in a circle, and it looked like they were all singing praise songs. And there were two adults, a male and a female, who were watching them with just joyous smiles on their face, and the green grass. And I remember it was a stormy sky, and I went, oh, an image like that, I could take that, and I got a concept of hell underneath the feet of the worship of the children, like the innocent worship of children, just joyously singing, like defeating everything that needs to be taken care of in hell. And I talked to my cousin about it. Hey, could I use that image and add to it and create a theme? And he's like, well, I'm not sure I feel comfortable with that. So I did my own thing. So it started here, and these were supposed to be two children facing like inward in a circle, but it turns out that it's two adults facing outward. And the next thing, we've got the sky, which represents the sun, and the thought of he gives the sun to shine and the rain to fall on both the good and evil. That sort of verse was going through my mind. I saw a sunset. I saw a bouquet of flowers. Here I see a hill that's all like gold, and the gold represents like the streets of gold in heaven. And I feel like this is the street of gold that leads people into heaven. But there's more going on. So this is a later edition. This is a photo that got printed off real small. I got a bunch of them around the piece. One day I was just out in the forest making different monuments and statues, and I saw a lot of angels appear in my work. And I won't describe each one here, but I just printed a bunch of these off, and so I've got angels hidden all over the piece. Anyway, coming back here. This is a powerful image for me. It's really had an impact on me. Here's a big lineup of a faceless crowd. No one's got any identity or personality or individualism. It's just an endless crowd. And it's a lineup to get into hell. And we can see here are two that are throwing themselves in. And here is an artist interpretation of what hell's about. And this represents the demon Beelzebub, who's like the big general down in hell. Up here represents the devil or Satan, who's looking up and like howling and bellowing, and who knows what he's up to. The lights represent disco lights because apparently it's a party down in hell. That's the big selling feature. Look at the lineup. It's like the best club you ever went to. Look at the size of that lineup. Except my joke is customer satisfaction rating is pretty low. This is a place of fire and brimstone and weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth. And what this image points to me, because here's the cross sitting right beside it, and then the streets of gold up here. And I'm not sure if this is heaven or heaven on earth. And the sun, again, isn't God himself, because God is greater than the sun, but God gives the sun, and it's sort of like a representation of God's love and his brightness. And what I feel is, from the crowd, there's this guy going, hey, look, what are those guys doing? And this guy figuring it out and running uphill. Like, as he runs uphill, the streets of gold, it just gets better and better. And by the time you get to the top of the hill, color's coming back in, and we're celebrating, and it's like, woohoo, you made it. And up at the top of this piece, I've got this little thing, and it's hard to read, but it says, let the saved remain, let the unsaved come. The only message I want to share. And I feel like that's the call from the perspective of heaven. Let the saved who are here already, let them stay here. Let them not be offended and start jumping ship. But the voice is, anyone who isn't here, come. The voice is come. Like, you don't have to line up in that stupid lineup and be processed and spend eternity there. It's not fun. And the only requirement to be here instead, and in the light and in love and in heaven forever and ever, is to recognize you don't have to do anything. That's what Jesus did. He took care of everything. So it's like, free, I'm in, choose me, sign me up, all in. And then up here, this is like the river that flows from God's throne, which is just blessing and glory and honor and love and the perfect expression of endless infinite love. Down here we got this guy who's like a surfer dude, and he's got a surfboard, and he's surfing in front of this all. He's riding the wave, and it's like producing a perfect tube, and he's just like in the tube grooving. The netting has to do with fishers of men. I've got some grapevines duct taped in, which has to do with the scripture, I'm the vine and he's the branches. We got this tornado or whirlwind that has the angel sort of trumpeting at the top. And here's an angel who's like flying in, who's carrying an open book. There's an angel like calling up there. And yeah, I'm not going to say anything more. Oh yeah. Just like there's this sun, last thing is there's also the moon. He gives the sun by day and the moon by night, but this moon has got like some cool, funky soul, and I feel like this is a message that, yeah, you can be the goody who walks in the daylight, but you can be saved and be the goody who walks in the moonlight. Like, I feel like God's saying that he loves us where we're at, and he loves culture, and he loves those who approach him with a style that is not a three-piece suit and sit nicely in church style, but is more sing with your whole heart late on a Saturday night and just pour out your soul honestly and authentically kind of love too. So that's what I think the sun and moon mean. Anyway, I call it Urban Awesome. I've really enjoyed the process. I hope you liked the view.